It's pretty crazy how a lot of really good cartoons fly under the radar these days. It's not as bad as it was a decade ago where god-awful airing times will ultimately spell death for a TV show, especially if it was animated. Looking at you, Thundercats. But thanks to streaming, the problem's been curbed a bit, so long as you're able to hear about it from friends or reviewers like me, I guess. Summer Camp Island is a cute little show that I don't hear a lot of fanfare around, even though it's been airing on Cartoon Network. In fact, I didn't really know the show existed until last year while randomly hopping around channels at night, which seemed to be the only time the show was up on Cartoon Network, so I'm guessing that's why it's not so well known. And to make matters worse, it was taken off HBO Max pretty recently too, along with a lot of other shows. Heck, that's why I decided to actually give it a watch. And I loved every bit of it. Summer Camp Island follows the adventures of two best friends, Oscar and Hedgehog, as they spend their summer on a whimsical, magical summer camp island filled with witches, magical beasts, and talking everything, I guess. From pajamas to marshmallows and even the moon. It's got that silly energy Adventure Time had, but isn't as goofy and random. The kids spend most of their days doing anything but summer camp stuff, from hanging out with monsters to attending a high school made for food, and butting heads with the camp counselor, who is also the head witch, Susie, while getting into wacky antics that are cute and sort of trippy sometimes. I really love how the show takes a more relaxed approach to the standard zany and goofy MO of most Cartoon Network shows, like Adventure Time and regular show. Nothing ever feels high stakes or dangerous because it's also relaxing to watch. That relaxing nature is also thanks to its art style that is just so soothing to look at. Everything is so round and cutesy that just welcomes you in to relax. The characters and backgrounds are all just pleasing to the eyes. The pastel color palette complements this even more. You can tell the team behind the show set out to make a show meant to soothe you, and they completely delivered in that aspect. Despite the children's storybook art style and animation being something you'd think would be for kids to teach them moral lessons and whatnot, it's quite far from it. Anyone can enjoy it. It's got cheeky dialogue and a unique sense of humor that doesn't rely on slapstick and the LOL so random moments that we've come to expect from most Cartoon Network shows. And carrying it all are our two main characters, the best friend duo of Oscar and Hedgehog. These two are just adorable together. Oscar is the silly and outgoing one with a heart of gold, always ready to make friends and help others out when they need it. Though he's a bit on the anxious side when left alone and doesn't quite easily adapt to new environments. Hedgehog, on the other hand, is the science-loving bookworm who's a bit more mature than Oscar but still a child at heart. She's more calm and collected, usually the ones who come up with solutions to their problems, though she's a bit of a try-hard, constantly trying to prove herself and gain some kind of approval. The two of them are such a fun pair to watch. They wear their hearts on their sleeves and never shy away from expressing how much they mean to each other, and every time I see it, it just melts my heart. They've always got each other's backs and believe in each other 100% of the time. Honestly, this is one TV show friendship I can believe are actual friends and not some one-sided relationship where one party is putting in a lot more than the other, though they can be a bit too codependent on each other, which I feel it might get explored the deeper the show goes. While Oscar and Hedgehog being the manifestation of all that is good in the show, there's one more character who gets just as much screen time as the two, and is quite the opposite of them.
Oh, Peppa, did your mummy tell you you were good at that?
Yeah?
Every mother lies.
This is Susie. She is the camp counselor and head witch of the island. She's a mean-spirited lady who seems to take joy in inconveniencing the kids of the island, especially Oscar. She's not exactly an antagonist, but works as a foil most of the times to the kids. She looks down on them, calls them babies, makes them do her bidding, and uses magic to get her way. She's such a chaotic force in the show that all the kids really can't stand her. But she's such a fun character to watch. She's blunt and doesn't mince her words even to kids. She seems to have made it her goal in life to get in the way of these kids on several occasions, just to prove a point. She's definitely got her own baggage to sort out, which is actually plot-related stuff, and as the story progresses, she becomes a better person, which is just heartwarming to see, though she still acts like a tsundere most of the time. The best way to describe Summer Camp Island would be a bedtime TV show. Yeah, that's it. The show is really comforting to watch, especially after having a long day. If I was to call it a feeling, I would call it soft. which is also complemented by the amazing voices that sound like actual kids with their cute little voices that are in no way high-pitched or annoying. You'd find it hard to find a character whose voice you just want to mute the moment they open their mouths. A very interesting thing I noticed about the show is that it doesn't feel like a show that you should be binging. In fact, I feel like binging the show would make you enjoy it less. The best way to enjoy this would be between 2 to 4 11-minute episodes a night. That way you could totally soak up the right amount of atmosphere the show is trying to put out. But then again, that's just my opinion, as you could burn through the entire season in one night if you wanted to. I don't know. I don't live with you. I mean, not yet. But I highly recommend you watch it in bite-sized chunks, especially if you're someone who deals with anxiety. It pains me to see how this show and many others got shafted by HBO Max, which makes it hard to find a proper place to watch these shows. But I'm sure you, dear viewer, who is able to find their way around the internet, can definitely find a way to watch this show. So go on, go watch it. And feel free to come back to this video and tell me what you think about it. Maybe subscribe too. This has been your very favorite slice of bread, signing